And he was the first guy, he came on a TED Talk, and he talked, I remember him saying, so he's going to say, he said, you're going to have a device like that, and you do that, watch, it'll tell you what the time is. He predicted everything that a phone would do now. He predicted all the ideas that we are exploring now. 20 years ago, he predicted as a student. I've been a fan of his ever since, and tried to get him to become part of a company I formed ever since. And he keeps saying, oh, I love you, and then flits away. He went on to be CEO of Samsung New Development. So if you're using a Samsung phone, the Galaxy, he developed that. And the next line, for the next 20 years, he's developed those phones already, so that's Pranav. Rehman, who when I first started couldn't spell internet, it was that. And then suddenly, he became the one guy that used the internet for everything. And then one day, he started to go into immersive storytelling. He'll tell you that story, you'll watch something. Why is he going into that world? I want to ask you, that's very important. Why are we all going into the world? What drives us? So that's very important. When Rehman comes, you'll see what he's doing. Ronald, I met by chance, and I walked into Dreamscape. You'll see a video of what he does. And I said, oh my God. And there he was sitting right next there. He's the founder. And I said, oh God, I've got to get to know this guy, because is he telling me my future? Or if I don't understand what he's doing, am I going to be out of a job? I think I'm out of a job anyway. So let's just watch the videos. I hope I can get the sequence right, and then we'll all start talking. Is this a better way to introduce everybody? Yeah, just share the papers. All right. I'll tell you that. Start with video number 1. Start with anyone. Start with A.R. Rehman. We can all sing to his songs anyway. Okay. Start with A.R.'s video. Yes? No? Go with any video. Oh, no, it's coming. I'm sorry I disrupted every organization this morning, because I wanted to give you guys more questions at the end of it. More time for questions. Okay. If you can demystify the metaverse, you're a genius. Metaverse is something, there was probably what, $200-300 billion been invested in it, and if you ask anybody who's invested even more than 10 billion, saying, what is the metaverse? We're figuring it out. It's like when the internet first started. So what is the internet? I don't know, we're figuring it out, and now 50 years later we know what it is, and that's the same thing that happened with metaverse, but the entrepreneurs are here. Let me see something from Ronald, which is what actually got me really interested in this man. Other than that, he's becoming a really good friend. Let's see Ronald's Dreamscape video.
Imagine a world where you are the star of your own movie. That's what one company is promising. Dreamscape Immersive is a new virtual reality experience that uses state-of-the-art technology to transport viewers into an imaginary world.
It's a way of using VR that's really quite revolutionary. We are able to take your whole body and actually turn you into an avatar and put you into a richly detailed digital world in which you sort of become the star of the movie.
Guests suit up head to toe in VR gear and enter a room.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go inside.
They watch as their bodies transform into digital avatars. In the virtual world, they must work together by interacting with their surroundings if they want to reach the end.
We make experiences that merge the emotional value or the emotional impact you get from a good Hollywood movie with the visceral thrills you get from a theme park ride.
Walter Parks is the chairman and co-founder of Dreamscape Immersive. Best known for producing Hollywood blockbusters such as Gladiator, Men in Black, and Minority Report, he brings a long list of big-time investors to the startup. It's backed by some of the movie industry's most iconic names, including Warner Media, the parent company of CNN, as well as Steven Spielberg, Hans Zimmer, 21st Century Fox, AMC Theatres, MGM, and IMAX, to name a few. Dreamscape opened its first international location Thursday in Dubai's Mall of the Emirates. The mall's developer, Majid Al Futtaim, is betting on Dreamscape's technology to drive footfall.
The future of leisure entertainment is going to be more and more human-fueled and human-intensive. It's about our ability to actually provide our customers with the opportunity to create great moments. And these are all about human interaction and emotions. And Dreamscape is a champion at that.
In the past, virtual reality has been widely reserved for gaming and commercial practices. Dreamscape is hoping their platform will redefine entertainment.
I think we're at the very beginning of what this could be, but also the technological curve has to continue to move so that it's cheaper, more accessible, less bulky, and it's going to be an exciting 10 years, I'll tell you that much.
Claire Sebastian, CNN.
Dreamscape is now all over the world, and one of the reasons I invited Ronald is to make sure he puts up one at Goa. Will you do that? Will you all go to watch it? Yes. All right, see, there you have. Pranay, are you listening? Oh, can somebody connect to Pranay?
Yes.
All right, Pranay.
Yes, I'm here.
I wish you were here, but we have you in some, even if it's online, it's great to have you. Great for you to be here. Do you have a video to show us? Online?
Not actually. I just arrived from airport. I'm still sitting at airport.
You're at the airport? Virtual airport or real?
Yeah, I just arrived, so I don't have anything to
okay,
present right now.
That's fine. So as we talk, if you manage to access something, let's see it. We haven't. Okay, there's one for me that Rehman put together. I hate him. All right, let's watch it. I have to show it. Sorry, guys. I hate myself, but here we are. Oh.
for me an amazing experience. I discovered all the extremes. I discovered the beauty of this country, and also discovered storytelling. So I was like really happy when you invited me to join here, to be able to come again and see basically discover Goa. I was never in Goa, and I'm really happy for this.
Introducing Rehman. Tell me what you learned.
About him.
Yeah.
So the first time actually the first time we met was on a Zoom call, and you were asking me this idea of doing this kind of like immersive thing, and we're discussing about VR. And you know, VR is a very nascent industry. So the people who are creating something in there are very few people who are creating something in there, and actually nobody has an answer. So this is what is really nice in this industry, is that everybody is like discussing, trying to find answers, experimenting and so on. So this is the first time we met virtually, and actually then the first time I really discovered your work was when you invited me in Dubai at the Expo, Universal Expo, and these two guys created this amazing show, immersive show, projection mapping on a sphere that was, I don't know what, 100 meters in diameter, something completely impressive, amazing music, dancers, and I thought, okay, this is something that is really done well in terms of immersive, is creating amazing emotions. So that's where I discovered your work and also your studio in Dubai. Thank you.
Pranav, before I ask Rehman to go on stage, what's your journey, Pranav, and why do you want to talk to us? Tell me. You're like accepted genius of the future of content. We're using phones that you developed. I saw in your lab phones that are not even out yet, and these some of the phones that you tried to use, those 360 ones, they were all developed by him at his lab now. But now what are you doing now? Tell me.
Hi everyone. First of all, it's an honor being part of this panel. I hope you can hear me from here.
Yeah,
I just arrived back from airport, so please forgive me if I'm saying something because I'm still half sleepy, and that's it. For me, it's like a dream come true to be part of this panel, because let me tell you that as a teenager, many of us must be many like me in audience, that I grew up admiring Sekhar and Rehman. They are like they are like gurus, and they are the superstars for us. And I'm so happy that to be part of this panel. And media is at my heart. Means MIT Media Lab, media technologies. And I'm a mystery, so we like to build, create. So it's a journey for me, and to be very frank, I'm a little bit sounding a little bit rough today, but because I'm so excited and be just part of this panel together with you too. And of course, thanks. Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll go on some tough questions. What's a composer doing shooting a VR film? Why? I mean, hasn't he made enough money? Hasn't he made enough music? Doesn't the world love him enough? And then one day he said, Jagar, I'm making a VR film. I said, what's that? This is the guy who put the spell internet a few years ago. He's making a film in VR, he's telling a story, and he's going to tell you about why. Why does he need to do that? Why? Why does he need to spend millions of dollars of his own money to develop something? Why did he do it? I mean, you'll see bits of it, but why is... So I'm going to ask A.R. Rehman to come in, and now the A.R. Rehman you're going to be talking to is, you all know his music. It's not about his music. It's about what he's doing, how he's taking all of entertainment to the next level. Rehman. So I'm going to sit down, and was that okay? Was that fine? These guys, I said I'm going to do it myself. Yeah. Okay, my mic works? No, I shout. Okay. Check. So, check my mic, please. Otherwise I need to shout too loud, then my voice will go home. So the question... So, the first question that I'm going to say, who has not heard about this word called the metaverse? Right. So let me just see. This is a trick question now. who has heard about the metaverse? So there's people who said we haven't. We have to put some hands that didn't say yes or no. Who has not heard about the metaverse? 6. Who has heard about the metaverse? Ah, now you're not shy. Okay. All right. So, Pranav, I'm going to ask you, what is this thing called the metaverse? What is it?
I knew it. I knew it that you will give me this the hardest question to ask in this particular to start with. I think that there's a lot of buzz. I would say there's a lot of buzz about this word called metaverse, to be frank. And no one has a clear idea, even in tech industry or even the outside of the tech industry. But it's obvious reaction to this new topic of any new tech domain. When it comes, we don't know what to call it. A very good example was like when I was MIT and working on that the future of the phone or the something that pops up on my hand or outside of the screen. We didn't know that should we call it augmented reality, and later it became augmented reality. People started calling it that way. In a nutshell, metaverse is, I would say, rebranding to say next wave of immersive and interactive visual experiences in digital world. Maybe Ronald might say something different way, but it's hard to put into words of this thing. But if you ask me personally, it is not about that a 3D kind of a game environment. You and me, our avatars are going to walk around and that. It is much more than that in metaverse. And I think the future of metaverse is much bigger than what we are right now seeing. We are just seeing the surface of it, I would say. Personally, like even just an article came out that the metaverse itself is a more than $3 trillion industry globally in 2030, and Asia and India will be a big part of it. So it's a next big thing that is coming. But we still yet to figure it out what exactly that means, because it's a bits and pieces we are building right now.
Yeah. I have to say something that you and I have been talking about. I believe that whichever nation that catches the cusp of the tidal wave that is going to be metaverse, and I think that if India has the capability, in India itself could be worth $3 trillion. So whatever our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi says, $3 trillion economy, I'm saying no, 6. It's going to add 3 trillion. Okay. All right. That's a question we have to talk to all the audiences about. Let's talk to you. Oh, okay. You have to shout. Okay. He sings so loud, so it's fine. I know that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Check, right?
Great. Thank you, Shekhar. I think that was a very kind introduction. And like the whole world, and even my.
Yeah, I think we can start.
Yeah. My visuals actually came.
Who can't hear Rehman? See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who has not ever heard Rehman? Okay. All right. Yeah. He's somebody fine to sharp. Bring him in.
So I'm very sorry. My wife keeps saying you need a mic always here.
Yeah. Okay.
So it all began when I was a child. 13, I bought the first camera. My mom presented it to me, and I was.
No, you have to go louder. They can't hear you at the back.
Check.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. So it all started when I was 13. I got my first camera and was taking visuals, and I went to the photo studio developing the stuff and was fascinated by all the chemicals used. It took a backseat because my mom said your destiny is in music, and she was right. I became a composer, musician, all this stuff happened. And after the Oscars, I spent more time in LA and learning about. I had a lot of time. In India, I do like 12 movies at the same time, 6 movies at the same time. But there I can do only 1 movie, and you have weekends off. So the weekends I was using for getting into workshops, learning about imaging, lenses, CG, and then finally virtual reality. And I had a casual conversation with my wife. Around 2015, I said, why don't we, because she loves perfumes, I said, to cheer her up, I said, why don't we do a movie on perfumes and we produce it. I didn't know I was going to direct it. This Then virtual reality was kind of introduced to me, and I was fascinated by what it could do in imaging. Everything came together, and 2016 went and shot this movie. I did a previs, and the previs was appreciated by the people in Rome when I was there, and finally everybody kind of voted me as a director. I said, you've done the previs, and you do this thing. The reason also is like, I've been labeled as an Indian composer, which I'm proud of. And after Hollywood, most of the movies which came to me were Indian movies. Anything Indian, go to here. So I said, how do you break this? Until I produce my own movie, do the music, and also create the vision for the same thing. And this led me into thinking, why can't I tell a stressful story? Why does it have to be an Indian story? Everything led into it. We shot it in 2016, thought we could release it in 2 months, but it took 6 years because the technology was not there. There's no workflow to stitch via all this stuff happened. Finally, we went to Cannes Festival this year, and we had amazing testimonials. And then we are at Hollywood, Sunset Boulevard. 5 chairs are there, and then there's another installation of the same Rehman's project in Canada. We're hoping we form a company to spread it around the world because people are fascinated. Just because half the battle is won because the technology is so good. You get something which you don't get in cinema. You get the intimacy, you get the immersivity, you get smell, audio, haptics, motion, and combining all this stuff, and music of course, is an emotion which is unmatched. So this is not a competition for cinema where you sit together and watch. It's a very personal thing where you're not allowed, you can't do Twitter or Facebook or Instagram while watching a movie. You have to be. So that also leads us to be very, very sensitive about what we are telling. People are very, very, they are sensitive, and one wrong image, one wrong sound, and one wrong frame rate, one wrong resolution can piss them off and say, I don't like this. So my responsibility is to see how I can bring this amazing medium and not distort it. A lot of people have distorted it. They've taken it the wrong frame rate. They made it monoscopic, and shutter speed has to be low to shutter. Okay, all these kind of things are boring, but just check it out. It's going to come to India very soon after it does its rounds across the world.
I'm going to ask you the relevant question. But it's not. The question is, why did he do it? I mean, what? So I was at Cannes and I was saying, you've got to go and see. I'll tell you, it's a film about a murder. And it's a film about the fact that the daughter who saw her father being murdered, something like that, and could smell the murderer. It's shot in virtual reality, so it's very complicated. And if you go to his installation, he has 5 chairs there. You sit in the chair and you watch the film, and the chair moves you 360 degrees virtually. You can watch at 360 degree. And wherever suddenly you hear a sound or a gunshot, the chair vibrates. And then if you can smell the murderer, you smell it. There's a little perfume that comes through. So it's a completely immersive experience. And when you come out, you've actually been in his world. That's complicated. And when I try to tell people this, yeah, that's very interesting. And I said, but you know who's made it? He said, Rehman. Rehman is a composer, he's not going to make this. And I said, no, he did. I said, how is he going to recover his money? In India, we always say, no, जुगाड़ है, पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे? Invest करोगे तो वापस आना चाहिए. And so I said, he's not going to recover his money. He said, he's Indian, right? I said, yeah. So why is he doing it? And so that's a question that you have to answer. Why?
I personally feel that this country has got amazing brains, and we are always waiting for a platform. We're always waiting for someone to nurture us or give the platform. I said, why don't I create my own platform? Why do I need somebody else to do that? Why can't Indians lead the world? Why can't we do something for the first time? Why do we have to copy something which is already there? Oh, that's driving lessons by the best. So when I went ahead and said, it's my money. If anybody asks me anything, oh, you can't shoot like this, it's too close. It's my money, I'll do it. If I don't like it, I'll reshoot it. And so that was my attitude in a very good way, because nobody knew what was happening and what the technology was. So I didn't want anybody teaching me that stuff. Whatever I felt was right, when I processed it and looked at it, it was stunning. So I said, in one of the scenes, the heroine is like that close to you. You can literally feel it there. So he said, don't do that. People will get offended. I said, no. It is an emotional scene where you're actually aware, you're looking at what she's doing and what she's expressing. You're whole there. So I think things like that, which people said don't do, I completely did because I felt it would work. And most of them worked. And we had a 75-minute cut. And putting this head-mounted display is very odd. During Corona, I felt like, okay, this has got no future because Corona is coming. And when that went off, I felt like I want to watch it in 75 minutes and cut it down to 37 minutes. And that's one of the reasons I think people are enjoying it. And
Pranav, Rehman asked a question that I've always wondered, and wherever I go, there's a question that keeps reverberating in people's minds. Are we going to be able to watch VR? Is multiverse ever going to give us an experience without having to wear a headset? Do you think, do we have a technology heading that way? Pranav?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I heard your question. I think before I go on my opinion on that thing, Rehman, I think I completely agree that the movie making or storytelling is going to change the way we look at it, because it's I don't think that there are millions of permutations the audience or the person itself will imagine that, oh, is the story to be like that. So the next movie or next the media will not be the one that the director want in one way, but there may be millions possibilities, and the audience itself will figure it out. He will design his own stories, and I think that's the future of the media will look at. And exactly, Shekhar, so I think not only this VR and AR, those technologies, but also AI will play a big role in doing this, bringing these aspects of it, where the audience will become a participant in the movie. And he will become one of the Avengers and solve some world problems. I think that's where the next future media will look like. If I heard your question correctly, you were asking about something about multiverse, and that's a particular part of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So in the case of multiverse and those part of the real world multiverse is a far beyond maybe not my lifetime research work, I would say clearly, but definitely the virtual part of that thing is already been imagined and already been coming as part of it. So we are already amazed by the poems written by the AI algorithm by GPT-3, and then we cannot differentiate right now the art created by Dali. I'm not sure that you know a couple of these tools that is changing the way. It's possibility now that the AI can be the next, maybe the movie maker, the next Academy Award being won by an algorithm rather than a person, and that algorithm can be providing new directions and new different permutations of this content that people are dreaming about. So that's what I can see, but I don't see that the real world multiverse imagination. But I think the movies and the media is the best medium for us to start dreaming about the things, and that's where exciting things will happen on that.
So this is a question I'm going to also, Ron, you come in. What you're saying is AI can create the next movie, AI can tell the next story. So how many of you actually think that all of you are either somewhere, if you're interested in storytelling, movie making, composition, music, how many of you actually think that artificial intelligence can take over what you do? And how many of you think that it cannot? See, you're going to have to convince a wide audience. So here's the thing. Number one, as a storyteller, I believe, and I'm going to put this question to everybody here, is that when people say to me that AI can take over storytelling, to me, the most important thing about storytelling is unpredictability. If a story does not have mystery, right, and if a story doesn't have faith, or a story doesn't have fear or hope, it's not a story. So can I teach an AI machine to fear? Can I teach an AI machine to hope? Can I do that? How does AI hope? How does AI fear? Because all my stories come from these three things. What do I want? What do emotions that I feel. And it doesn't matter that I tell stories, make films, it doesn't matter if you're composing, it doesn't matter if you're an artist. All of us as artists driven by this uncertainty, and the fear and all this uncertainty drives us. Now, you, Ron, were telling me something that happened when you tried to do what you were doing without music. So can you tell us that?
Yeah, so I really believe that creativity is something that's human owns. I really doubt, and even if AI is going to offer amazing possibilities, I really doubt that creativity is going to be done through machines. And the reason is that our brain is very complex, and we need to be triggering all our different senses to create emotions. You were asking about music, and what we realized, and I think this is also very valid for cinema, that actually the most immersive sense is our hearing. So if you are shooting or if you're displaying a movie, and suddenly the sound goes off, or the image goes off, actually the people are going to exit the venue like more faster when the sound goes off. So the sound is something that is like super important. And in this new medium of VR, everybody puts all their effort and all the money into what we see. And we put very little money into what we hear. But I think it's completely wrong. And even for us, for Dreamscape, I'm saying that, and actually we don't push it this way. So I think that the sound is super important.
What was your experience with Hans Zimmer?
Okay, so that's an anecdote we discussed yesterday. We were doing one of our first piece of content, and we were releasing it in maybe like a month. And we were there, and actually it was not working. It was really not working, and I was, okay, yeah, it's not good. Then Hans Zimmer came in, and he did the experience, and then directed his team, okay, for tomorrow morning, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do that, and so on and so on. And actually the next morning when you arrived, so this was the same visual content, but the experience was amazing. So just the sound, just the music, could like really transform something that actually was not working into something that's really created emotions.
Yeah, so this question that everybody wants to ask A.R. Rehman, can you be replaced by AI? Can A.R. Rehman, how many people say yes, he can be? If I fed all of A.R. Rehman's music, if I even got an AI machine that's about has the ability to take all that data, everything into it, can suddenly say, oh, I know what AI will do in this. So, and then I play the AI a scene from a film and say, give me a background score that A.R. Rehman would do this. Do you think that's possible? And yeah.
I think as human beings, we all evolve. Right? No, as human beings, we all evolve. We, like when I grew up with South Indian folk music, classical music, film music. Then I was exposed to African and Western Hollywood and all that stuff. So my influence at that time was rebellious, not to do what people are doing in the South. I wanted something else, so I used North Indian classical. Then I used tribal music, but the core was Tamil lyrics. Like the lyrics actually grounded my songs to what people would like. But the shape of all the stuff, the clothing, everything was different. What I've learned through by listening and aspiring to be, and I wanted my music to be. So the multiple emotions behind the music making. It's what the director was asking me to do, what emotion he wants. And so it's not just a piece of music, it's got, sometimes you just underplay, sometimes you just don't do just the voice, the piano. So these decisions. And then from 2000 to 2010 it was different. The world had changed. Dolby came in, Atmos came in, all this stuff. Not Atmos came now, but Dolby and BTS and all this stuff was there. And then from 2010 after post-Oscars, again it was different. The world is evolving, and the challenges also.
He's not answering the question I asked him. No, you're not. I'm going to ask him.
I'm saying that all these factors determine my compositions. So it's not just, if you say, okay, AR in the 90s is different from AR what we're doing now. And people take some time, and those who like my music in the 90s, I think, oh, he's not doing that stuff. If I do that stuff, I'll be finished. I need to evolve. I'm the AI.
All right, between Rehman and Pranav now. Yeah, go ahead.
Second, I think I want to add, like, I don't think that anyone can replace, no machine, no person can replace A.R. Rehman or Shekhar Kapoor. There's no doubt about that. Anyone has that. I think that machines are going to be original in their terms. They are going to imitate humans. They are very good at imitating. They are very good at computation, and that's what's going to happen. So tomorrow, my kids or my kids' kids may be able to ask, oh, can I listen to this music in Rehman style? And that's what's going to happen. The machines will ask for that. People want more and more out of you and more and out of Shekhar, but you are only one, so that's going to happen. And that's what the power of the machines are. Machines are been tools, good tools for us, and it's becoming intelligent tools in one way I would say. And I think that's the power of the machines going to be. Not more than the creativity. Like the ghost in the machine doesn't exist in reality. It's just maybe the imitation of the ghost of the machine exists in one way.
So let's take a word, intuition. How does intuition relate to artificial intelligence? Can they be intuitive? Can they go beyond all the data that is fed into them? As you just said, yeah, I do that now. When I do my sketches, I just go to DALL-E and I say, give me, a horse flying through the universe, but give me it in a Van Gogh style, and it'll do it. But that's not intuition. So let's isolate that word intuition. Okay, let's concentrate. Let's take out all the machinery and let's take out all the techniques and everything. Where does intuition come into composition? Where does that? What is intuition? And then I'm going to come to you, Pranav, and say, because a lot of products you develop, there was intuition before you developed. I mean, so that's for science. Did you develop sort of bottom up, brick by brick by brick, and see what you can? Or did you have an intuition to say, something like that, let me see if I can resolve an equation leading to that one intuitive point. So, but let's hear, so does science and art get together in those areas? So first.
Intuition is then they expect you to do something, and it could be perfect, but then you feel like I should not do that, I should do something else. It's figuring out what is coming later and how it's going to be in a year, and your art changes to that. Because when you do what's there now, it becomes old in a year. When I'm doing a song for a movie, if I do a song which I've done before, the style which I've done before, the movie comes in a couple of years. Like, for instance, Gramas took 6 years. And I'm glad that people are not looking at how long it took, they're just looking at what the output was. If I didn't have intuition, I would have, I would have taken something which was normal that time. I said, what is the next camera? The camera just came. What is the next? What is the style which will never get old? Let's take a classic jazz style. So all the tools which I used were intuitive. Thinking that if I use something which is cool now, if I didn't have that forethought, it would have failed. What is Nancy wanting?
Not telling the truth. I have seen we're sitting, we're trying to compose something, and he says, I'm just coming back. He'll go away. I'm like, you do that all the time. He'll go away, I'm going to do something, some live, right? And he'll go away, he'll come back, and he'll play a composition that is completely mind-blowing. What happened? What happened in that moment? You've done it, I've seen you, so don't deny it. What happened? Where did you go? Did you pray? It's fine. Prayer is also calling for intuition, right? Most of it. I mean, we all have our forms. For me, prayer is panic, right? Somebody says you got to do yeah, and then suddenly 2 hours, I've waited 2 years, and 2 hours before delivery, I get into such a panic that I get into the zone. How many of you have been in a zone? I can tell you, anybody says, I've never been in a zone. Okay? Can't be. If you are absolutely, if you're running and you think there's a ghost running after you at night in a lonely street, that fear, you go into a zone. What is this thing called, can AI go into the zone because it's in the zone and everything moves faster than the speed of light in the zone, and suddenly you come out with something and you ask where did that come from? You'll say prayer, I'll say panic, Pranav will say, I don't know, intuition, something came to me. You'll say something else, dream, yeah. Dreaming, does AI dream? Does it come from a dream? So Pranav, these are questions that we are always asking ourselves as creative people. Where does it come from? Where does creativity come from? We can do building blocks, and creativity is building block and block and block, but something happens somewhere. I say that we connect to a universal creativity. I say that you connect to sort of, universal consciousness or things like that. But we don't really know because nobody's been able to describe, universal consciousness. So Pranav, it's like a spiritual question thrown at you.
I think this is wonderful because if you know that I also come from architecture and design and art and that background, and then I like to bridge this gap between the thinking. And one of the person that comes to my mind is actually a mathematician, Henry Pointer. Maybe he said that it is by logic that we prove. He's a mathematician. He said by logic that we prove, but by intuition that we create or discover that particular. For me, intuition is very synonym to word this, I would say curiosity, because it is the only one thing that I have found, which I haven't found myself in machines. Machines might be able to create, machine might be able to reproduce, machine might be able to do something that we haven't done before. But the curiosity part, that the urge of the questioning part of it, intuitive questioning part of it, it is a missing part that no one has yet figured it out. No AI algorithm is even close to that, even thinking of what is the curiosity part of it. Like in my personal experiences, when we build a new technology or build a new gadget or something, it's an inner curiosity. As a kid in Palanpur, I grew up and I had a dream that why can it not happen? When I watched Mr. India, there was a watch that it can make me magical and disappear. That curiosity, that dream stays in our mind and say, let me create that. Why not? Why can I not build it? And that urge is what I would say intuition is all about. And that once you are into the zone, exactly you said, or in my word I would say zone, so you become that into that zone, and unless you finish that, you cannot sleep. So that's those are one of the moments that I would say intuition is all about. In terms of the technology, I don't think it's anything related to technology or art or design, but I personally feel that the intuition has been driving force for everyone who is creating things and creativity.
I never thought of it. I've just realized as you guys were talking, shall we do an experiment? Is everybody ready to be part of an experiment? Yeah. Okay. This is all in you. So why don't we just start clapping, right? All right, did you all notice that you started to clap in sync? Why? Why are you clapping in sync? Let's all start clapping out of sync, completely out of sync. Do not. Okay, let me hear that. Keep going, keep going. You all came back to sync. What is this? Let's now try hard to keep everybody completely out of sync. Okay? Keep trying that. Stop. We'll do it again. Do you see the dissonance in rhythm? And now you have to just give a little composition on the dissonance. Let's try it. Because if you all clap the same way, you get bored, right? There's no intuition. And no, you're part of this experiment too, okay? So let's keep trying to make dissonant clapping, which will provoke Rehman to think of a little not more than a few seconds. So let's keep it dissonant and loud. Now, if you are passionately doing it, that passion will come across. That's the other experiment. When you're on stage singing, is the passion of the audience coming to you? Not just in the way they're stomping, but there's some other sense that comes to you. Let's try it, shall we? Do we have time? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, let's try it. Dissonant clapping. Dissonant. Keep it dissonant. Okay.
It's more rhythmic stuff, right? And when you have a surf, it's dissonant. So
how does somebody sing their creative story?
No, they have to sing on Saturday, but there's no. You want to sing?
Yes.
So, that's not dissonant, that's dissonant.
Yeah, so we need dissonance.
See, they're very intelligent audience, you can't do this to them.
Let's try it. Let's try chaos. Okay?
I want to add something.
Okay, try.
No, like,
Because what I'm trying to see is what he's doing is not AI, he's creating chaos in your heads.
it's easy. You see that on papers, you see a paper heading, then I wanted to actually talk about meta-humans.
Okay.
Right? Any of you saw the Unreal Engine meta-humans, which are very realistic? Just one of them. If you just type in meta-humans Unreal Engine, you could see a very, very realistic avatar of anybody, any nationality. The thing which I think in the future would be if one of us is trapped in a look, right? How we are, and we want to be the other self, the alter ego. It's much more easier because most of the time people look at the phones and they look at virtual reality, they look at the computer, they look at an app, and we are actually reflecting that. How people change the DP picture of some actress or somebody, and then actually then somebody else.
I never do it.
No, I'm just telling you, like, that's a cool thing where, for instance, the professional meetings which are happening on VR, where they're all sitting and they all have an avatar, and most of the avatars does not belong to that person, they want to be somebody else. So, and I believe that in the research they felt that that's much more productive, having an alternate avatar, than being themselves. So this is a cool opportunity, I feel like, in the meta world, in the metaverse, where people don't have to expose their identity. They could be fully functional, talking, and they could be dancing, they could be acting, they could be do whatever in the alternate avatar. Makes sense?
It's not supposed to. The big thing is, my life doesn't make any sense. I said, who told you life was supposed to make sense? If it made sense, there would be no life. Anything, just come in. Pranay, come in, just shout. I'm going to ask, and then we're going to throw questions open to the audience. What would I do with the metaverse? We all have different ideas. I was thinking this morning, what would I do with the metaverse? And I was thinking that I would create my avatar. We know that in the metaverse you can create your own avatar. What is the metaverse but my story? What is my avatar but my story? So basically what I'm doing is through an avatar, I'm putting my story onto the metaverse. And that night I go to sleep. In a billionth of a second, if everybody's on the metaverse, my avatar, which is my story, will have interacted with a billion other stories from other people's avatars, more conversations that is going to be possible than my whole life. More story into, because when somebody raise a hand, anybody, one person. Okay. When you and I meet, I am not talking to you about myself. We are exchanging stories. Hi, how are you? Did you have breakfast? Yes. Story. What did you eat? Story. We keep talking stories to each other. So if I put my story on, And my avatar has, in a billionth of a second, talked to a billion avatars, put on available, and exchanged stories. And then I wake up in the morning, and my avatar says, Shekhar, here's a story of the world that I picked up today. And I say, oh, that's interesting. Now, other people are interpreting my story through my avatar to me, and everybody is doing that. So we have this kind of super connectivity and super sharing of stories. What am I going to do with it? I have no idea. But I think that's one. So, Pranav, take that up and say, Shekhar, you're stupid, but Shekhar, that's a possibility, or Shekhar, you just got it completely wrong.
Shekhar, can you repeat your question?
So, did you hear what I just said? You could hear it, right? About swapping stories of billions.
Yeah, I just couldn't hear the question properly. One more time.
So, whatever I said, you're actively looking at investing in the metaverse, right? So what I just said is the use of the metaverse, you have three options. You have to say, Shekhar, you don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. Or you say, actually, that's an interesting idea. Or you say, no, it's going to be much more complex, much better than that. That thing that I narrated, and just tell me.
Yeah, I think the metaverse, I would say wait, because the world is still figuring it out. The tools and technologies are still building an early phase of it. And this whole avatar technology, AI-driven avatar, the works, what even the Rehman was talking about. In fact, I wanted to show some of my work, recent work. Maybe if you can play the video, maybe the crew,
Let's
send
do
video
that.
link.
Let's do it.
It's very relevant to the.
Yeah, we're going to show you videos, and then we're coming to question time, where you guys can talk to us. Okay.
You're asking me to play. Let me try to share this video if I can.
Do you have a, yeah, they're just putting that up. In the meantime, Ronald, while we're waiting, can you talk to us a little from your perspective?
So first of all, I think that's what we're all forgetting is that the most powerful machine that exists on Earth is our brain. We all believe that technology is everything. We're living in society where technology becomes a star. But I think technology is still like so far away from what we can do that we just need to remember that our possibilities are just immense and much more than technology. Technology is something that is very recent. So I guess that creativity can only really happen in human brains. Technology is just a tool to help your creativity to be displayed. So VR is just giving amazing possibilities to create things that you cannot do in the real world, but still creativity is something that is very important.
So when my daughter was very little, she would draw on walls with crayon. Crayon was a technology. Kids now will take an iPad. iPad is their technology to express themselves. Then there is VR is another technology to express themselves, but each time it is an area of self-expression, right? And what was the last sentence you said?
So actually, what is going to be amazing, we're right now in a creator economy, and technology is allowing not only you to create movies, but it's going to allow a lot of people to experience to create movies because they have this technology to do it. And I think that's when you have like millions and millions of people who are trying something new, at one point, one or two things are going to be very interesting. So maybe it can be your daughter that is certainly going to discover what is the new things in creativity.
So what am I going to do then? That's the question, right? That's why we're talking, what am I going to do? So are you ready with the videos? Pranav, you can play your video from where you are, right? You want to come up, Doctor? Pranav, can you play your video from where you are? Just, he needs to press the button, right? Can you play the YouTube link from where you are? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we don't have sound here. Yeah. But no, we don't have sound if there is sound. Yeah.
Is this my sound, the video sound coming in?
No.
No.
So Neon is a new company that I know that Pranav started, and I'm very keen to see what he's doing with it. And if you don't get sound, it's fine. You can talk us through it.
Okay, maybe you continue. Meanwhile, I figure it out how to play the sound from here.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everybody to ask us questions. Is everybody wanting to ask questions? Do you have questions? I saw one hand go up. How many hands want to go up? I want to see them all. Oh, I can't see you guys with those lights in my eyes. Okay. Yes. Go ahead. Yeah. Can you quickly give mics to people asking questions? Yeah. We'll keep the questions. There's a request because we're running short of time. Make the question a question, not a statement. Okay? All right. Thank you.
No, the question is, when you're talking about the metaverse and creating content in the metaverse, what we would each imagine the use of it? To me, it seems so clear that it would be incredible if we could have easy access to feeling, to be put in the shoes of somebody in a situation that otherwise. So, like what AR created that I had the opportunity to experience at Cannes, what he created, I understand, with his wife, but something that's easier to access, that you don't have to go somewhere and sit in a specific chair, you're talking without headset. So when we get to that stage, that the technology that's going to be more easily accessible, that we all perhaps have, can we not create content that, you know, crosses the divide so that I can experience what a refugee somewhere in the world is going?
Well, so I'm going to phrase your question. Your question is, will we ever get to a stage where, for example, if there's a refugee camp, which I actually see on CNN, I want to be able to be there, right? Through VR, this technology. I can answer a bit unless somebody, I think that's what Dreamscape is saying, that we will have the ability to take you there and allow you to walk around. And your second question is, can I do that without VR glasses, without the headsets? And so the question is, can we ever do it without headsets? That's one of the fundamental questions that all of science and technology, we are all facing that. Can we sit in a cinema hall in a group, not just individually, in a group and have a VR experience with each one sitting next to you having a personal VR experience? Yeah, each one of you are different. But now let us know when you're ready, and I'll take another question before. Are you ready? Yeah, you can play the video, Pranav, please. Oh, we're playing the video from here, so it should have sound.
Hi, I'm Neon. Artificial human. It's a little bit different from an AI. I was computationally created based on how real humans look and behave. Every Neon has a unique personality, emotion, and intelligence. I'll help you find your style. I'll let you know what's happening around you. I'll guide your journey. I'll help you find your inner peace. I'll be someone you'll share your idea with. My dream is to help humans become even more human than ever before.
Wow, that was amazing.
So,
do you know the number one thing girls want in a guy?
Hi, I'm Neon.
Who was to do with that?
Okay. Lot of people.
So that's an avatar, right?
Views after those.
So that's amazing. All of that was, I mean, yeah. I mean, I can make a film without actors in, right? Pranav?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can make a film without actors.
Yeah, you just buy the IP.
Yes.
So Amitabh Bachchan can actually create an IP of himself, and for the next 2,000 years we can make films with Amitabh Bachchan. Because he's formed his own avatar, the way I've just seen these actors, right?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Do you know,
So you answer the question.
yeah, go ahead.
To answer your question about VR and people, I think there is some kind of technology which is coming in, but I think it's like 3-4 years away. I saw a display which is like this, where you can see each other and you can still feel the.
I don't really agree with you. The facts here, talking about project mapping. So basically, you are in a space where everybody sees the same thing. In VR, what you're doing is everybody can see something that is different, and you can turn around objects. So basically, have different points of view, and you're not having the same point of view. So this is going to be clearly also one format that is going to be very interesting. It's going to look more like cinema. And the difference between cinema and VR is basically the vocabulary. When you're shooting a movie, you're talking at the third person. When you're shooting VR, you're talking at the first person. And I guess when you created the Musk, you had to completely shift the way you were thinking in directing this movie.
Yeah. I'm going to ask a very fundamental question. You remember when, Pranav, you and I talking, when I joined MIT once, the whole thing was when they asked me about virtual reality, and my question is, tell me what is not virtual. If you can tell me what is not virtual, I can talk to you about virtual reality. Because all our perception is virtual. We perceive the universe in our own personal way. It's virtual. The way any one of you will perceive the universe and any way I perceive the universe is so completely different. Perception is virtual because you have to tell a story. So what is not, and so I'm shifting the emphasis of discussion to a little more inner level in the brain. I'll tell you a story. I have a cook also, and I took him to London when I was shooting my last film, and there was a documentary running on man's landing on the moon. Right? And I said, look, Dekho Suresh, man's landing on the moon, and he looked at it, and there was the rocket and Armstrong stepping out, and when he was saying, giant leap for mankind, and he said, sir, क्या बात कर रहे हैं? हम तो चांद को पूछते हैं. ये आपने कुछ visual effects किए हैं. चांद पर आदमी कैसे जा सकता? How can man land on the moon? We worship the moon. It's not possible. So I took him to the Science Museum. I showed him replicas of the Apollo spacecraft. I showed him the space suit and all. He came back and he said, yeah, I thought I'd won a big victory. He said, yes,